let's talk about the course a little bit. So you got to see me in the last video, and now let's talk a little bit more about sort of what this course is going to look like and kind of what my teaching philosophy is, right? So this is a basic math class. This is 075. This is pre-algebra. We're not doing any variables. We're not doing any letters tucked in there. We're doing basic computation, okay? Now, all of this stuff is stuff that you've seen before. If you've graduated high school, if you've gotten your GED, you know that you have seen all of this material before. Okay. But that being said, you didn't get it all, right? You didn't totally understand it all, or you didn't remember it all, right? And so that's what this course is for. It's for diving back into those topics that you either didn't totally understand, or you kind of got the first time and now we're going to get better the second time. Okay. So there's some stuff in this course that you're going to remember. You're going to feel like, oh, this is so easy. I can't believe I have to do this. One of the benefits of the online class is you can sort of go a little quicker through that stuff. Go quicker through the stuff that you already understand. And then give yourself more time, put in more time on the weeks where it's stuff that's harder for you. Maybe it's the fractions, maybe it's division, maybe it's something else. But one of the advantages of the online class is it gives you that flexibility. Now, everyone in this class is in this class because they don't know all of this material. You, all of your classmates, everyone who's in this class. So please, please, please ask questions. Ask me questions, ask your classmates questions. Okay, we have something called a community help forum, which is really where we're going to base all of our questions. And the reason that I like to use a community help forum is because it gives you a place to ask questions, and it gives your classmates access to those questions so that they can answer. They can check the answers. I will also answer in the community help forum, but sometimes you might be online and someone who can help you is online at the same time or online just after you. So I really want you to use that community help forum as a way to really build that community, right? It's an online class. You can't just lean over the person next to you and say, hey, can you help me on number 7? Because they're not there. They're not sitting next to you. So the community help forum really is that classroom atmosphere. It's where you can ask questions, where you can lean on classmates, and where you can lean on me. So please use that. No question is a stupid question, right? No question is too basic. Everybody in this class knows some of the material and doesn't know some of the material. So take advantage of that. You help on the stuff that you really understand, and let others help you on the stuff that they really understand. So take advantage of that. Okay, my philosophy on teaching this course, my idea is essentially don't memorize steps. Don't learn algorithms. Don't just boom, 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 boom. If you have a problem that looks like this, you do this. Now, some of you are going to be very used to that sort of teaching style in a math class, so you're going to have to take a little bit of an adjustment. And some of you won't. For some of you, it will be seamless. Okay? But I don't believe in, hey, here's a problem. Here are the 4 steps to do it. Go home, do it 50 times tonight, and hopefully you've got it memorized and sunk in. Okay? My philosophy of teaching this course is really, you need to understand, not memorize, you need to understand 7 things. You need to understand what is a decimal, what is a fraction, what is a percent, and then you need to understand what's addition, what's subtraction, what's multiplication, and what's division. Now, I'm not saying what's the symbol, and I'm not saying how do you punch it in your calculator. What I'm saying is understand when you use it, why you use it, and how you use it. And I believe if you really understand those 7 things, then any computation that you're going to do just builds on that knowledge. So I'm not for speed. I'm not for quickness, right? I'm not going to, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? What I am all about in this class is, can you understand it? Okay. So if you understand those 7 concepts, which we're going to talk about, we're going to go over, then any computation will just come from rationally thinking through that. Okay. Now, for some of you, that means you're going to have to play along. You're going to have to dive in. You're going to have to get your hands muddy to really get to understanding. Okay. To get away from, just tell me how to do it so I can go do it. Okay. This class is more about really understanding. Okay. So why do I do that? Most basic computations, we're going to whip out our calculators or whip out our cell phones, and we're going to do those computations with a computer or a calculator or a cell phone, right? Sort of out in the real world, that's how we do it. There are very few places where you have to multiply decimals or divide fractions, right, by hand on your own. So what's the point? The point is to understand when you divide the fractions, right? To understand why you do multiplication, so that when you're stuck in sort of this bigger world where it's messy and it's gray, you have to know how to put those numbers together, right? So that's part of it. And then second part of this course is really about kind of teaching you to think logically, to practice those sort of logical thinking skills, those rational thinking skills. I know these few things and I want to get way over here. How do I get way over there? How do I use these things that I know to build something that gets me to where I want to go? All right. Now, in the math world, okay, that sometimes the toolbox is very small, the goal is very clear, but out in the real world, it's much bigger and it's much messier. So in some ways, we're kind of zooming in using this little world of mathematics, right, to really practice these thinking skills so that when we go out into the bigger world, it's easier for us. It's still messy, it's still gray, it's not perfect, but I truly believe that one of the important things about learning math is to learn sort of how to think in a certain way. It's not the only way, okay? I'm not saying that this is how you should think all the time, but it is a way of thinking that can be very beneficial to you, both as a student and, more importantly, as a citizen, as a person in a society, okay? So that's sort of my philosophy on how this is going to go. So let's talk about some nuts and bolts. So nuts and bolts first. So I had a slide at the very beginning of this. These videos will show up much better in YouTube. So if you'll notice that at the bottom of the screen, like where the play button and the pause button are, there's a closed captioning button, and there's also a YouTube button. So I recommend that anytime you watch a video in this class, you click that YouTube button. What's it going to do? It's going to kick you to youtube.com, and I have found that it makes the quality better, both the audio and the video. It also gives you a lot more flexibility in making the size of the screen fit better. Now, some other things that we're going to want to talk about as you dive in, so especially those who are new to online learning or who are new to Moodle, there's a couple things I want to talk about sort of just to get you going. And if you have any questions about any of this kind of stuff, please contact me, right? I'm here for questions about the math and the content of the course, but I'm also here for questions about Moodle and the technology. And if I can't answer it, I can definitely direct you to someone who can, or I can ask someone who can and get back to you. So it's important to me that, especially right at the beginning here, that you get comfortable with Moodle, how you log in, how you play with things, how you open things, how you close things, how you deal with things, or get some of these technical issues out of the way at the beginning. But I know they're going to come up. I know you're going to run into them as we go forward, so please let me know. Okay, last thing, before we go on to some more nuts and bolts, I'm sure there are mistakes in this course, right? I am sure that there are links that aren't going to work, or something's not going to download properly, or you're going to have trouble emailing it back to me. Don't freak out about it. Don't stress about it. Just contact me and let me know. We'll figure it out, okay? My deadlines aren't always hard and fast. There's a lot of wiggle room, especially this first week as we're getting into things. So don't freak out. Just let me know. Our IT department is awesome at HCC. We also have something called MERC, which is other students helping students, and they have open office hours. So take advantage of those resources as well. But please, please, please contact me with any issues that you have. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about sort of navigating Moodle. Navigating the main page. Underneath the video and the welcome comic in the video that you're watching right now, underneath that there are a bunch of folders. And each of these folders are designated by this yellow folder button on the side. If you click on that button, it will open or close a folder. So the one I just circled is closed. If we go down below that, here is where it's open. So notice the picture of the little folder is open, but more importantly, it's dropped down and shown you everything that is inside of that folder. Now, if you want to use and play around in that folder on the main page, you can click it just as I clicked. Otherwise, you can come over here and click this box, and that will send you to a separate page that only has the information for that folder.
that might be more helpful on the folders or the weeks that have lots more information in them. Now, beyond the Let's Get Started and the resources, the folders are divided up by week. So they're titled by topic, but that's going to be the topic and then the assignments for that entire week. Within that folder, those are your different kinds of assignments. So here, you need to introduce yourself, you need to read the syllabus, log into WebWorks, and figure out if you can use the virtual manipulatives. A great place to start is to read the syllabus. A syllabus is a very, very important document for you as a student. And a lot of teachers don't stress this, and it kind of bothers me that they don't. But the syllabus is a very important document for you as a student. Not just because it has some information about the professor, it has the grade breakdown, it has due dates, it has information, it has expectations. But even more important than that, if you are having issues in a class with a professor, and you have spoken to that professor and you feel like they haven't responded to you, the person that you need to go see is their dean. If you're not sure who that is, anyone in the Welcome Center or your advisor can help you figure out who the dean is of that particular professor. And when you go and sit down with the dean, one of the first things they're going to say to you is, do you have your syllabus? Okay. Because a syllabus is essentially a contract. It's a contract between you and me. That's not totally fair because I wrote it, but it's a contract saying this is what I am going to do for you as a student. So in my role as a teacher, this is what I'm going to do. If I don't do those things, okay, that's when the dean is going to step in and help us resolve that. Okay, but the syllabus is a very important document. Some syllabi you're going to use a lot in some of your classes, and others you won't, but it is a very important document to hold on to. So this is what ours looks like when you click on the syllabus, and you read it by using the table of contents over here. So each of these lines is sort of a different page, or these are sort of page forward and page back buttons. So it is very important that you read this syllabus. Read everything in this syllabus. The folder under Let's Get Started. So I want you to do those 4 things in the Let's Get Started. And this is the resources. Okay, so HCC's How to Be Successful Online and other resources, definitely check that out. That's HCC stuff. But then the next 2 things are very important and specific to this course. So course announcements. So this is where I'm going to be making announcements to the class. Okay, and an email will get sent out to you to your HCC email. I am the only one who is allowed to make course announcements. So that's where they're coming from. That community help forum that I talked about before, this is where it is. So I want you to read the what is the community help forum and then use the community help forum. When you click into it, okay, there's nothing in there right now since class hasn't actually started yet. So there's a community help forum. If you want to ask a question, you click on add a new discussion. And when you do that, this is going to pop up. So hopefully you'll have a picture of yourself. So that's me. So type in your subject and then type in your question or what you want to talk about. And then here, I would like for you to click this box. It says reveal yourself in this post. But if for some reason you're feeling like maybe you don't want to, that's totally okay. If you do not click this box, then the post will show up, but no one will know who it is from. All right. Now, don't use this to say nasty things or do bad stuff. But if you're just feeling a little uncomfortable about a particular question, feel free to use that. Now, I hope you don't. I hope that you click that button every time, that it allows you to sort of bond with your classmates and get to know each other a little bit better. So I hope you will click that box. But if for some reason you don't, that's totally fine with me too. Now, to respond to someone else's, if there is a discussion question up there, and you read it, you click on the title or the subject, and it will give you the question or the description. There will be a button right there that says reply to this, or if you scroll down a little bit, there's already a box set up to reply. So the replying is very easy once you're into a discussion question. Okay, a couple of helpful hints. Take notes. This is something that's very clear and very obvious and very expected in a traditional class. If there's a professor standing up in front of the room talking to you, then you're going to take notes. Or if you're working with classmates, you're going to take notes. You can remember what you did. Same thing here. So if you're watching a video, if you're reading a website, or any of the other activities that we're doing in this class, take notes. Set up a notebook. You can do it digitally online if you want, or get a paper notebook and take notes in this class. Okay, rewatch and reread. This is a huge advantage to an online course because when you hear me and when you see me, for the most part, it's recorded. So you can always just go, wait, what'd you say? Back it up, do it again, right? And you would do that in class anyway. A professor is explaining something, they get partway through it and you say, oh, wait, back up, I didn't get that. So now you just back up and watch it again. There are also times in some of these videos where I'm going to ask you to pause it and to try something on your own. Do it, right? Just as you would in a class. If we're talking about something, right, and I ask you to pause it and try a question, try it out on your own. That's going to help you learn and to help you figure out what you don't know yet. You're much more confident if somebody shows you a question and then they work it out. You say, oh yeah, I can follow that, I would get it. Different from, hey, here's a question, try it on your own, then go see if you agree with what I say or what someone else in one of these videos says.
Okay, 2 last things before I send you off to really dive in and to let's get started and look at some resources. 2 more things. 1, I believe that math is something that you learn. Okay, it's not an innate thing. You're not born with it or not born with it. You're not good at math or not good at math, right? Everybody learns math. Everyone learns math. You learn math. You can learn everything in this course. Okay, so you've got to get over those roadblocks. You've got to get over that sort of math anxiety that says, oh, I'm not good at math. Oh, I hate math, right? I truly believe that you can learn this material. Learn it. I learned it. I wasn't born knowing all of this stuff, okay? I didn't pick it up like, boom, oh, I just got it. Oh, I turned 6 and I was a math genius, right? Or I just get it. No, it's not that way, right? That's not how math works. Math is something that has to be learned. Learn it. So this course is about learning it. Second, I want to give you a heads up on calculator use versus non-calculator use. So for a big chunk of this course, this is a non-calculator course because we want to focus in on understanding certain concepts, not just grabbing our calculator and punching it in. Okay, so really what's going to happen is really the first half and a little bit more than the first half, all of this is going to be non-calculator. So all of Unit 1, all of Unit 2, all of Unit 3, all of Unit 4, okay, are going to be non-calculator units. Now, I'm not going to sit next to you. I'm not going to be on a webcam seeing what you're doing online to see whether or not you're using a calculator. So that's on you. Okay, you need to understand this stuff well enough to be able to do it and explain it without a calculator. Now, if you want to have a calculator nearby to check answers or just to play with or check things on, I have no problem with that, obviously, but it's important to me that you are understanding this to the point of not using a calculator. There is a final exam in this course. It is a cumulative final exam, and it is an in-person final exam. Okay, you will be coming to campus. If you can't, don't freak out, we can make arrangements. But you'll be coming to campus, okay, and you will be taking a final exam that you have to pass this course. That final exam will have a very large no calculator component. So make sure that you are preparing for that. All right. Let's dive in. So, I've given you an introduction to myself. I've given you an introduction to the course. So, dive on down. Let's get started.